Hey, hi, and howdy, sweet friends. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new. My name is Courtney. I am a stay-at-home homeschooling mom, and here on my channel, I like to focus on food and kitchen content. I do grocery hauls every week, what's for dinner style videos every Saturday, and lately I've been going on a food preservation journey, so I've got a few canning videos that are already out and some more that are coming. So if you like that kind of stuff, I hope you'll stick around and hit the subscribe button. All right, y'all, let's jump right into these meals. They were healthy meals again this week. I think y'all are sensing a theme here. New year, new us, right? We're trying to eat a lot healthier. So I kicked it off with some shrimp pasta. Pasta is like my weakness. I love it so much. I know all the carbs are not the best, but y'all, I simply have to have my pasta. I've given up a lot of other things on my quest for eating better this year, but pasta's just, it's got to stay in my diet. I started off with a pound of shrimp that I peeled and deveined and did all the things to. I tossed it in a skillet with a little bit of some garlic oil, and I added a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm not doing anything fancy with it. I'm just kind of cooking it through, and it doesn't even have to be completely cooked, but mostly cooked, because we're going to toss it back into the skillet here in just a little bit. Now that the shrimp is out of the pan, we're just going to use that same skillet. It still has some oil in the bottom, and I'm tossing in half of an onion that I've diced up. If you just have a small onion, you could just use one, but I just used half of a regular sized onion. And then we want to throw in 1 cup of chicken broth. Now you guys know that I don't keep chicken broth on hand, so I put in a cup of water and I put in some bouillon and gave that a nice stir. And this is going to form the base of our sauce. Next, I threw in the juice of 1 lemon and the zest of 1 lemon. Y'all know I love my citrus here. I just think I don't know, the pop of fresh citrus flavor with pasta and with seafood is one of my favorite combinations. Then I threw in some of my confit garlic. If you are new here, this is my favorite condiment and I make it myself, so there's always a video link below in the description box. But if you don't have that, you could do a head of roasted garlic, or you could do some fresh garlic, or just some garlic powder would work just fine. Next, I threw in some of these grape tomatoes. I love these guys. They're called Texas Two Steps and I get them at H-E-B. I just put them on the counter and these are so good. Like, I'll just walk by and grab a handful to snack on. I love their flavor so much. They are just bright and sweet and delicious. Now, tomatoes, like fresh tomatoes in pasta, is one of my favorite things. I know some people don't love them because of the skins. You could always substitute a can of diced tomatoes, but if you haven't tried fresh tomatoes in pasta, you are missing out. This is so good. I pop the lid on for 5 to 7 minutes and they just kind of explode and all their juice comes out and it makes this amazing, incredible sauce. And because this is cooking down, that beautiful sweet tomato flavor is just amplified in this sauce. I let that just simmer for a couple of minutes and then we're gonna go ahead and do one of my favorite things when making pasta. Even if I'm just using a store-bought jar of pasta sauce, I love to heat the sauce up in a skillet and let the pasta finish cooking in the sauce. This yields such an amazing product at the end. There's just something about it. The sauce cooks into the pasta. The noodles are beautiful and glossy. They don't stick together, and the flavor just seems so much better. So I just took my ziti out of the pot that's boiling next to it. It's about 3 minutes shy of being done. I tossed it in my sauce and then I just continue to add in some pasta water from the pot as needed, just so that the pasta can finish cooking. Now it'll soak up a lot of that liquid and release its starch into the water, which is going to thicken the sauce that's left in the pan, which is what makes a sauce that you cook your pasta in so incredible. The natural starch from the pasta is going to thicken it and just make it so good. If you don't know, that's how you make traditional authentic Alfredo, is just some butter, some pasta water, and some Parmesan cheese and garlic. Next, I threw in some capers. I love capers just as much as I love lemons, y'all. That bright acidic flavor is so good. And then to finish our sauce, I'm just gonna throw in about 3/4 of a cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. You can't use the green shaker tub for this. You really have to shred it yourself. It needs to not have any kind of anti-caking agent in it for it to work the way that it's supposed to. So this is the same way you would make an authentic traditional Alfredo sauce. As you would have the butter and pasta water, and you would slowly toss in freshly grated Parmesan or Romano cheese and let it just slowly kind of incorporate and emulsify into that pasta water at the bottom, and that creates a beautiful creamy Alfredo from the starch in the water. I'm using that same technique and just creating our sauce. It's going to be kind of a creamy tomato Alfredo style sauce. That's the last of my Parmesan. I just do it a little bit at a time, and you can see I don't have like big bits of cheese in there, it really has just incorporated right into the sauce and made it even richer and creamier. It's lent its flavor to it, and it just tastes absolutely amazing. So delicious. Now I'm going to take those shrimp and I'm going to toss them right back in here and toss them around. So if your shrimp are not quite fully cooked, you can have another couple of minutes here in the pot to finish them off. Shrimp don't take long at all. These were larger shrimp, so they did take a little bit of extra time, but overall they cook fairly quickly. The last thing I'm going to do is toss in some fresh parsley, and I had a little bit of dill left in my fridge, and I thought, why not, because you guys know I love dill as well. Toss that right on in there for a little bit of Mediterranean taste to it. I loved it. It was so good. When it comes to things like seafood and fish, they really do pair really beautifully with dill. It's just a natural partner to them. So this was fantastic. I just gave it one more minute to kind of heat the herbs up and let them lend their flavor. And there was our finished dish. This was so delicious and just so full of flavor, and the shrimp were cooked absolutely perfectly. All right, next we have hot honey chicken and zucchini. So I'm going to link the original recipe down below. It's a sheet pan meal, and I just kind of adapted it for what I wanted on this particular night. So I'm going to start off by seasoning my chicken. I've got chicken thighs. Those are actually my favorite to cook with if I'm going to be throwing them in the air fryer, because they really come out as though they have been grilled. They get crispy bits on the sides. They stay tender and juicy. Love it. So I'm going to go ahead and season this up. I've got some garlic powder and some onion powder and some paprika. I didn't have quite enough in that last container, so I had to open a new one. Not a big deal. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and toss this around and get it fully coated. I don't know if y'all can hear in the background right now, I am doing my voiceover and we are having some storms. So I'm sorry if the microphone is picking that up. I was trying to wait it out, but it just keeps coming back and hailing and thundering and stuff. So I'm sorry if it's interfering with the sound. All right, so once I have the spice mixture on there, I threw a little bit of oil in there. I'm using avocado oil. I was always a big fan of olive oil, but recently I made the switch to avocado oil because of the price. Olive oil has more than doubled in price over the last year. And avocado oil is just way more affordable. From what I understand, it is also one of the heart healthier oils to use. So I don't feel bad about that change at all. I just set that off to the side to let the seasons kind of soak up for a minute. And then I forgot to turn my camera back on, but I did throw 2 to 3 tablespoons of flour in there and mix it around on top of that seasoned chicken. And this is what's going to give us kind of like a battered coating when we air fry this chicken. So I have my air fryer basket there. I sprayed it with nonstick spray, and I'm going to pop this in my air fryer at 400 degrees. I'm going to do it for about 8 to 10 minutes on one side, flip it 8 to 10 minutes when it's done, and that will result in some really delicious chicken. All right, next we're going to work on this hot honey sauce. So again, I'm linking the recipe down below, but I'm going to make just a few really small changes to the sauce. First off, it calls for like 6 tablespoons of butter, I think, and I've got about 2-ish tablespoons there. I just didn't feel like I needed 6. So I put those in to start melting, and then the recipe calls for hot sauce. You guys know I love my Frank's sauce. I'm using that, and I think traditionally the recipe really wanted you to use more of like a Louisiana Tabasco style hot sauce, but I just love Frank's so much I had to go with that. Next, I tossed in some honey, and then I'm going to throw in a little bit of seasoning here. I've got some smoked paprika. I think that smoky flavor is just really, really good in sauces like this. You could also throw in just regular paprika or chili powder and just kind of go with your gut on that one. And I'm also going to put in some garlic. Now you guys know, again, it's my confit garlic, but you could just do garlic powder, and I think that would be perfectly acceptable in this situation. I kind of feel like fresh garlic might be a little overpowering, so I would just throw in a dash of garlic powder. But you're just going to let this simmer on the stove, the butter melt, the honey kind of melts into it, and let it create a glaze. As it simmers, it thickens a bit, so just about 3 or 4 minutes and you're good to go, and you've got this really beautiful sauce. This sauce was incredible. Oh my gosh, I loved it so much. This could totally replace buffalo sauce for me, which is something I thought I'd never say because I love buffalo sauce. So once my chicken was done in the air fryer, I went ahead and just took it out, and I just kind of tossed the chicken around in the sauce like this to fully coat it so it has all that deliciousness on top. Oh, this was so good, y'all. I was so blown away because, again, it's not like battered fried chicken. Could have fooled me, though. The flavor was incredible. That sauce is delicious, and I served it with some ranch for dipping. Very simple, but oh, so good. All right, chicken Tauk, I don't know if I'm saying that right, and Lebanese rice. I'll post both of these recipes down below. The chicken is easy. I'm just going to marinate it, and I can't remember if the original recipe said to cook it in a skillet or an oven, but I'm going to air fry it because that's just how I roll. You guys know I love my air fryer. So I threw my chicken into marinade. Now you can do this 1 hour before you cook or up to 24 hours. I did it for roughly 1 hour because I was busy that day, and that's about all the time I had to do it. So I took my chicken and I threw it in a bowl, and then I'm mixing in my seasonings. I'll list all of those down below. But this is a yogurt-based marinade, which I don't know if y'all have seen that before. It's something I've come across before in some of my cooking, and I will tell you it will yield some of the most tender and juicy chicken. Oh my goodness. I know that it probably sounds strange to some of y'all to marinate chicken in yogurt and then cook it in yogurt, but I promise, oh man, it is so, so good. Anyway, we're going to get this all seasoned up with some, I think there was like chili powder and paprika. You guys know I love that smoked paprika. I throw that in everything. Some salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. When I'm doing marinades, sometimes I will use my confit garlic because the flavor is just so incredible. But I gotta say, like, especially if I'm cooking things in the air fryer, bits of garlic can burn fairly easily. So I do try to use garlic powder in those situations more often than not. Anyway, once I had all my spices and stuff in the bowl, some lemon juice, that yogurt, I gave everybody a good toss around in that marinade and just kind of set it off to the side and let it hang out and get all tasty and juicy and delicious. You just want to make sure that that yogurt fully coats all the sides of the chicken. All right, next we're going to make a nice little veggie salad for this. I love fresh veggie salads, especially if you've got like a heavily seasoned meat like lamb or chicken, and even some cases beef. So I started off with a cucumber. I only used half for this, and then I've got some mint. Oh, trust me when I say mint pairs beautifully with a lot of heavily seasoned meat. It's just really bright and delicious. I've got these little grape tomatoes that I love so much, and I am just cutting them in half and then just kind of chopping them up after that. These are really bright and beautiful in all kinds of different things, and I love them in this particular little veggie salad. So once I've got the mint and the cucumbers and the tomatoes in the bowl, I've got some fresh parsley here. I typically don't always pull my parsley leaves off the stem, but I did for this particular application just because I'm throwing this in like some salad and stuff, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't have a bunch of stems in there. Now, like if I'm going to throw it in the food processor and make a tabbouleh salad or something, it doesn't bother me, and there's nothing wrong with the stems. I just know throwing this in my rice later and throwing this in that salad, the stems might be a bit bulky because I won't break them down as well with my knife. So once I put all those herbs and veggies in the bowl, I've got some onion down in there too. I went ahead and seasoned it with some salt and pepper and a really generous amount of lemon juice. I'm just using the store-bought stuff in the container in my fridge, but if you have fresh lemon juice, that'd be great too. You could even throw like some lemon zest in there. All right, onto this Lebanese rice. I will link the recipe for this one down below as well, but I started off by rinsing my rice. I'm using basmati rice today. So I rinsed it really, really well, and then I just sauteed it with a little bit of oil in the skillet with an onion. And once the rice had really started to toast quite nicely, I threw some of my confit garlic in there, and you know, it just melts into everything kind of like butter. It's really good, really delicious. So I went ahead and let that toast with the rice and do its thing. And I'm just going to kind of keep that moving around so that nothing burns in the skillet. Next, I want to go ahead and hit this with my seasonings, because if you toast your dry spices, it really, really amplifies their flavor and they taste so, so good. So I'll give you the full list down below of all the spices, but I've got some turmeric and different things in there, and it is so good. So then I need some chicken broth, and you guys know I don't keep that on hand, so I threw a little chicken bouillon in there. Then I'm going to add my water in, pop my lid on this, turn the burner down to low, and let it cook for about 15 to 20 minutes until the water is gone. Give it a stir, lid back on, and just set it to the side, and you will have perfect fluffy rice. All right, back to our chicken that's been marinating. I sprayed the air fryer basket with some non-stick spray, and then I'm just going to put my chicken in there, and again, I'm cooking it at 400 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes, flipping it another 8 to 10 minutes. I vary my times just depending on how much chicken I have and the size of some of the chicken thighs. Some of those are pretty good. This one was done in about 8 minutes per side. Look at that. I served it with that vegetable salad, some naan and some hummus, some Lebanese rice, and that chicken. Oh, so, so delicious. All right, so our last recipe is for tandoori chicken, which is an Indian style chicken. Now, I'm not making traditional tandoori chicken because I don't actually have a tandoori to cook the chicken in. It's kind of like a big clay pot with a fire in the bottom, and you put the naan bread or the tandoori chicken up against the sides, and it cooks against the side of the clay pot. I don't own one of those. We're gonna air fry this, but this is as close as I'm probably ever gonna get to making tandoori chicken at home, because I'm just not willing to invest in one of those. So I'm gonna start off by making my marinade. Again, this is another yogurt-based marinade. And like I said before, don't be afraid of it. If you haven't tried a yogurt-based marinade before, your chicken is incredible this way. Not to mention, yogurt has a lot of protein and other vitamins in it. Of course, you do kill the probiotics when you cook it, but there's still other health benefits to yogurt. So I threw some lemon juice in there. I've got some ginger and I've got some cardamom. We're doing some chili powder and some paprika, some cumin and some garam masala. Now, if you don't have garam masala, don't panic about it. One, you can buy it at the grocery store, but if you don't want to invest in a spice you don't feel like you're going to use very often, just go Google it on the internet and you can make the mix yourself at home. And it does have most of the spices in it are pretty common. There are a couple that you might not have on hand, and you can always kind of skip some of those. As long as you have the majority of the spices, it's going to be pretty close, and it's still going to have a lot of great flavor. So Indian chicken and a lot of Indian dishes are very heavily spiced. And I don't use the term spiced as in like hot and spicy, just like there's a lot of flavor and a lot of spices used. And this chicken is no exception. You can see I've got a ton of spices that I've mixed into that yogurt. But man, is this chicken so delicious. Now, on the flip side, if you don't want to make this at home on your own, a lot of grocery stores do sell tandoori marinades. I have picked some up in the past from HEB. It's not their store brand, it's some other brand. It is kind of spicy, but I actually really like it. The chicken is just so tasty. So alternatively, if you don't want to make your own marinade for it, you could just buy it at the store. Anyway, I'm going to let this marinade for, again, it's 1 hour at, the bare minimum, or up to 24 hours. I probably did about 6 hours because I did this in the morning and I let it go until I cooked dinner that evening. The longer you can let chicken marinate like this, the better. It's really going to just soak up all that delicious flavor. I just want to make sure that yogurt is kind of smeared on every square inch of that chicken, just so that it can soak up all that delicious flavor, and it'll just be fully coated when I cook it, which really does give it a really nice tender juiciness. So I'll just cover that and pop it in the fridge. So once it was done marinating and I got ready to cook, I again sprayed my air fryer basket with nonstick spray, and I took the chicken out and threw it on there just as I've done before, 400 degrees. These pieces of chicken were bigger, so I did do about 9 to 10 minutes per side, flip them halfway through. I've got that leftover veggie salad from the night before, and I didn't want to let it go to waste. I was going to make a tzatziki sauce, but the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I want to make sure we use all of that up. So I just used that veggie salad and tossed it in some yogurt. So we've kind of got a cross between the veggie salad and a tzatziki here. Now, a tzatziki typically has yogurt, lemon, dill, mint, sometimes parsley, and cucumber. This particular salad has a little bit more in it, but it was so good, and it was the perfect complement to that chicken, which is just warm and spicy and delicious. And then I just served some couscous on the side and kept it very simple. Those were our meals. I will list or link all the recipes down below for you guys so that you can try them out. I did make some substitutions, but you can see what I did and you can see the original recipe. I hope you guys are having a fabulous week, and I will have a canning video up tomorrow, so I hope to see you there. Bye.